I spent the first 40 years of my life fawning. I didn't know that it was fawning then. I just thought I was trying to be good. I was trying to avoid conflict. I was trying to please. They call it people pleasing these days. It wasn't called that in my day, but that's what I was trying to do all the time, throughout my first 3 marriages. That's what I was trying to do, constantly people please. And it got me nowhere. It really didn't get me anywhere. In fact, it made things terrible. And I didn't realise it until the end of my 3rd marriage, when I thought I had been so good to my 3rd husband, like the first 2. Why wasn't it working? And I realised it was me, and I'm not victim blaming because I didn't consider myself a victim. I just wanted to know how I could fix it and then move on. What I found out was that I was so embroiled in keeping the peace, in people pleasing, that I never thought about what I actually wanted at all. Not once. And also, I just didn't like conflict. Now, that probably started from having a schizophrenic mother, and she was very mercurial. And I learnt very early on that people pleasing, keeping quiet, not saying boo to a goose, kept you safe. But it had to stop someday, and it stopped for me in my 40s, after the end of my 3rd marriage, and after a year of terrible depression. I decided I would do something about it, and I did. I went on an NLP course, and I unloaded a whole ton of stuff during the learning of that NLP course. But it wasn't until I started making these videos that I actually realised that my behaviour had a name, and it's called the Fawn Response. And it kept me safe, which it did. It stopped my mother from attacking me and other people from attacking me. So it did keep me safe, but it didn't make me happy. And in my 40s, I started to learn to say no. Following that video, I got a lot of messages saying, how do I rewire my brain? Because the Fawn Response is actually the method in which your brain is rewired to keep you safe. It's neurologically proven. It's not you thinking, oh, I'll just give myself an excuse for my behaviour. It is a thing. I really didn't know that. And since I found out about cause and effect, it has allowed me to forgive myself for all the stuff, for all the what I considered being a wimp, being stupid and foolish. It's allowed me to forgive myself and think, well, goodness, you came through a lot. You're a survivor. Imogen, you've survived. And actually, I should be proud of that. But what about everybody else? What about everybody else that hasn't only just found out about the Fawn Response and their own childhood traumas and how they've affected their lives? What about those people? And what about if they can't afford to get therapy? Because, frankly, therapy is very expensive. I spent 18 months going to therapy with my 2nd marriage, wanting to be able to stay in a marriage where there was no love. It didn't work, but I spent the money and I had the hope. But these days, there are so many online resources that you can find for yourself. There are YouTube channels that will give you insights into psychotherapy, into therapy, into all sorts of things that might help you without spending any money. And frankly, this day and age, people just don't have a lot of spare money. So it is with this in mind, I thought I would share with you some of the things that I'm trying to cure myself of the last remnants of my people-pleasing behaviour. What we're going to do is notice each day times when we fawn, when we people-please, even though we don't want to. The next thing we need to do is write it down in a book, in a notebook, or on your phone in your notes, somewhere that's safe. Don't try to change your behaviour just yet. It's too early. Just notice what you're doing and accept it and think, well, that's interesting. I'm going to change it, but for the moment, I'm just going to write it down. Notice what triggered you, how you felt about it, how your body felt, and then track the situation that caused the fawn response. Here's what I want you to track. The situation that triggered your fawn response, what you actually did. If you said yes, or you made an excuse, or you did something that you really didn't want to do, but you just found yourself doing anyway. Maybe you apologized for something that wasn't your fault. Or maybe you just over-explained. We all know we can do that. Notice your physical changes, how it felt in your body, whether you had a fake smile on your face whilst inside just cringing. If your chest felt tight, just about here was where I would feel it, and whether your voice got tight or it went up an octave trying to placate someone. And then write down what you actually wanted to do instead, in detail. Remember, the fawn response isn't a character flaw. It's survival. It's the way you have survived. And becoming aware of your own fawn responses is the beginning of change and how you're going to rewire your brain. You're not going to try and stop fawning quite yet, but you will. And this is the beginning. Just noticing the pattern is progress. Next week, we'll talk about how to stop fawning. One of the methods that I'm using. And if you have been, thanks for watching. Lots of love. Bye-bye.